Well, certainly the footprint of a stadium is not a small thing, but the activity that's generated, the excitement for multiple uses that's created from a stadium we found, basically is the engine, the economic driver to make an entire area. You've seen that in Denver with the ballpark that was created, and a whole new group of restaurants similar in San Francisco at the ballpark there for the Giants. These stadia and ballparks are fantastic for, I think, creating and generating a lot of activity for a community. So parks are great, and don't get me wrong, I think we can have green outlying areas and do it in such a way that it's a benefit. We intended to keep the trail along the edge of the harbor open and accessible to the entire community. I just think that the best and highest use for that particular property would be something that benefits the community and people who visit. The blimp shot on Monday Night Football is seen by, 3/4 of the U.S. and a lot of people abroad. And you just don't get that kind of exposure with simply a public park.
That's right. Listen, let me go ahead and bring Bill into the conversation. Bill is the architect, and then Bill, two questions primarily. First of all, can we incorporate this entertainment sports complex into the park and so that it becomes functional for everyone? And secondly, I'm sure that you've seen the design of the proposed entertainment complex itself. Is it sound and does it meet the needs of this particular community, taking into consideration our weather concerns?
Certainly, George. Some of the things that really excite me about this particular location on the waterfront is that it builds on to what many don't realize is an existing sports and entertainment district that's anchored by Coca-Cola Field to the north, First Niagara Center to the south, Harbor Center, which is under construction in between, and the Buffalo Waterfront Stadium would be just a short hop across the Buffalo River. That would kind of complete an axis of a sports and entertainment district. So much like what John was alluding to earlier, the proximity to a central business district, you've got hotels, you've got restaurants, you've got bars, you've got parking facilities, you've got all the things that these kinds of sports and entertainment facilities would require. You wouldn't have to build them from scratch in another location, they're already here. So why not build upon the footprint you've already got?
What about the integrity of the design itself?
The design is perimeter in nature, and I think that's the intent is to keep it perimeter in nature and keep it malleable, flexible, so that as this project evolves and shapes up, we can certainly adapt to the needs of not only a wide range of multi-purpose activities, which we envision for this project, but also the needs of the Strong Museum as they propose and plan their Museum of Culture and Sport, which is an integral part of making this truly a destination for the public 365 days a year, and not something that you would go to just on 8 Sundays during a football season.
Okay. The other thing, too, in Georgia, and John, if you would comment on that, if we built this new stadium with a retractable roof, it has the potential of attracting playoff games, correct?
Not sure. That is Brian. That's correct.
Okay.
You can play a playoff game in the open air, but they do like Super Bowls to be in they had the one I attended, Jets Giants, and luckily we just missed snowstorms there in New Jersey. But there is a preference to have that. 2 of the 3 for the 2018 Super Bowl, HKS was involved in. I'm the principal in charge of the new Viking Stadium that's under construction right now in Minneapolis. And that one is a multi-purpose. It does not have retractability, but it has a clear ETFE roof, which is what they use in the Beijing Water Cube. And that one is designed to have 30 rows retract on one side so that the University of Minnesota baseball team can play baseball at the first of the season because it's a program to do that. So there is flexibility in the design of these stadia to accommodate multiple variety of events based upon what the event profile that's established for the given stadium looks like.
John, there's been some concern, at least one elected official in this area that's connected with this so-called committee has made inferences as to whether or not your organization can attract the necessary financing to get this project done.
Well, we were able to do that with private financing that's currently underway, and we're in the city of Oakland. So we are still in that process, but it is ongoing, and we do have the ability, as does GBSEC, to bring in partners to make this a reality from a financial standpoint.
Now, and as you know, that George has been stirring the pot and creating a lot of interest in this particular project. And so, what needs to happen now from this standpoint, in terms of making this a reality here in Buffalo?
Well, George, I think we've talked about that for many weeks here. We've been trying to secure a land option, and we have a good understanding with the city, and we're interacting with the state now to try to get an understanding or some kind of agreement that says we would like you to do due diligence on the site, and if you do due diligence, we will seriously consider moving ahead. No real strings attached, however, a serious agreement that we want to look at this site as a preferred solution to our questions. Now, related to that, one thing I just wanted to point out, and it's good that Hutch is on the line, is many people don't understand that there are criteria for creating a new facility, and I don't think any professional sports league wants to have their newest stadium be their worst stadium. And there are a lot of commentators in this town who say, well, we don't need, a palace. We just need a football stadium. They don't seem to understand that if you have a brand here, not only do you have the brand of the city of Buffalo, which John Hutchings referred to, when you see the image looking down from a blimp, you see a brand new majestic downtown. You see all these activities, and you see it for basketball, you see it for college football, you see it for professional football. That's a brand opportunity, but any professional sports league does not want its newest facility to be a lower grade facility. And a lot of the media in this town as well doesn't understand that, and some developers don't. John, could you pipe in on that one? What these kind of criteria are, or what your qualifications to get through the threshold would be?
Well, of course, having been involved in now the design of 3 NFL facilities, the NFL has certain criteria. We've taken large stadia and come up with a seating design for the recent NCAA Final Four based on what we did in Indianapolis for that. So we also, since they're headquartered in Indy, we had to work with the NCAA and understand their requirements for the Final Fours. Similarly, depending on what other sports are desired to be played, we've of course done arenas where we had basketball, etc. But we're really talking about a stadium that's more inclined to do larger events on the order of 65,000 seats. The Super Bowl requires about 72,000 seats, so you design them a little smaller so that you have the ability to potentially submit for a Super Bowl in a given community.
John, I said you hold on, hang in there with us. We do have to take a break and pay a few bills on this end so that we can